say that I appreciate you all. Being in virtual meetings is a tumultuous time. During a tumultuous time, it's very tough. And oftentimes we don't know about information until we get here on Tuesday nights, as well as the public. And we don't usually have enough time to speak on, not that we don't have time to speak on the subjects, but sometimes it's hard in a Zoom setting to get everything that we want to talk about without cutting each other off. And I just want to say that I see you all and I thank you all. And I just try to remember that this is a volunteer position that has strenuous guidelines on us about what we can and can't discuss until we get here on Tuesdays. And I know it gets frustrating, especially with everything constantly changing. And I just want the board and the district to know that I appreciate you guys. And I want to thank the committees that are meeting outside of these meetings. Our, reopening committee, all of our, we have various committees that board members and district personnel are coming into on times that are outside of your contracted schedule and on everything else. And I just appreciate everybody. And if I don't say it enough, that's all I really wanted to say. So thank you for indulging me. And I'm going to move on to the superintendent's report.
I appreciate you too.
Thanks, Jim.
You're welcome. So, Friday, this past Friday, the New Jersey Department of Education finally came out with its road back plan, which is very extensive and very thorough. And while it certainly answers some questions, there are still lots and lots of questions remaining. So lots of work to do. Our reopening task force has met now twice. We're meeting again this Thursday to dive deeper as to what September is going to look like. We have our administrative team back tomorrow in person, meeting to discuss things. So we really haven't just the month of July to iron it all out and hash it all out. They want to see it around the 1st of August, and obviously we need to have our plan out so that parents know exactly what they need to do. There are tons of questions that are out there, all with the idea that there are more cases nationwide these days than there were back in March and April when things were bad, at least in New Jersey and right. So there's a lot of unanswered questions. What will it look like? Model, like I said in my letter that went out yesterday, is very possible. So I think we're gonna a survey is going out, and we're working with the task force tomorrow. We've been developing a survey not tomorrow, on Thursday when the task force meets. I'm going to show it to the task force, get some feedback from them, and then probably Monday we'll be putting out the parent survey to get some feedback as to who needs transportation, who's going to need meals, what kind of child care concerns you have. All of these different things are going to be very significant, very significant. Staff has a lot of questions and concerns, and there will be a staff survey that will go out as well. So lots of things going on, lots of conversations to be had, and more to come. But we have about 3 or 4 weeks before, it'll be our goal that by I think what's our meeting, 21st? We have a meeting on the 21st where we'd like to be able to share at least a pretty good idea of the direction we're headed. Okay, so just to give you an idea. Now, athletics, another part of this, we are the NJSIAA did come out with guidelines that allow athletics to go into a phase 1. Phase 1 will basically just be conditioning. It's not no contact workout or anything like that. It's limited, and I included for the board the guidelines that Mr. Todd has put together, and we feel confident that we can start on the 13th with the first phase of fall fall athletics, at least for some. Football probably wants to get started, and 2 soccer's want to get started. So at least we have some athletics starting on July 13th, and we'll have more discussion on that at next week's meeting, where we will have some discussion about including coaches, because we will, of course, have to include the coaches before that gets started. But that it's been included for the board. There's daily health screenings that would be conducted by our staff, and both players and coaches. So it's a very extensive return for our that is planning. And then also I wanted to talk about graduation. We are just shy of a week, or a little bit more than a week away, I should say, to the high school graduation. We're excited about it. Middle school graduation on Thursday. We are, however, going to kind of add something to the mix that I wanted to let the board know that we will be asking all of the families who are going to be attending to provide us with a health screening form that morning. We'll be handing it in as they come to graduation. Basically a self-check. Many of you, I was at the dentist earlier today and had to fill out a whole bunch of forms, or fill out a whole bunch of questions about not having a cough, and not having a fever, and not having traveled to another state, and what have you. So it's a way for us, and we did discuss this a little bit with the task force last week, because it's something that we think that we're going to have staff do come September, not sooner. Is basically a test every day that they satisfy. They meet the requirements as far as not having a fever, not having symptoms that are associated with COVID. So we're going to ask our families that when they come to the graduation to provide us with information. So just want to make you all aware. That's probably going to go out within the next day or two to the families. And if they don't have it, we will have form there for people to fill out. We're not looking to turn people away, and we also will have medical folks there to assist if we need to be. So if there's any questions on that or anything I've mentioned from the board at this point, happy to
I just wanted to ask on the workouts, did the coaches see these guidelines, and I assume are all good with them? They have to have them.
I know Mr. Todd has sent them to the coaches. I can't speak to what I personally, I think the coaches are
fine. Yeah.
Wanting to go. So I don't. I think they're all. They're obviously concerned about wanting to do things correctly and properly, and we'll give them the support they need. I think the coaches want to get going.
Right. Okay.
I don't know of any districts that are not at least going into phase 1. And by the way, the phase 1 is supposed to last for 2 weeks, and then it's the potential for phase 2, which now gets more, a little bit more involved with, what the kids can actually do.
Okay. Denise, there you
Sorry.
go.
Jim, is that for all sports, all fall sports, or is there some that have been ruled out?
No, the guidelines exist for all fall sports. So I don't know that all fall sports will take advantage of the phase 1, because most sports do not start until mid-August, typically anyway. What this does is the kids did not have an opportunity. Typically when the spring season is done, which is June 15th, that's when coaches can start working with a lot of the off-season workouts for kids. Like they can start working out, conditioning, that kind of thing. And like football, for example, would start practice on right around the first week in August. They're usually the earliest to start. But they start their conditioning, their formal conditioning, as early as the day after June 15th. Because they didn't have that opportunity after June 15th. By starting July 13th, it kind of gives them a little. It's sort of like a make-up time that they can do some conditioning before the actual start of the athletics.
Okay, thank you.
Jeff, you have something?
Yeah, so Jim, as far as the graduation goes, how aware are all the kids and parents on the restrictions of the number of people they're allowed to bring, so that there's no hassle?
What do you mean?
I'm concerned that I'm just concerned that hearing some things that people might try to bring in, their grandparents with them, and next
Well,
thing you know,
everybody has 2 tickets. If they don't Dawn can chime in a second. I see her here, and if I leave anything out, Dawn, please chime in, and Chris. But everybody has 2 tickets. They're color coded, so one graduation is a different color ticket than the other graduation. So you can't really do that. It's going to be checked, and we have our security. We met with OTPD. I mean, look, we're not. We're really hoping nobody puts us in a situation where we have to create a confrontation at a graduation ceremony. We're just happy that we're doing this. I hope people would respect and appreciate the fact that we've chosen to do this and not just rely on a virtual program. That we want to do this for the kids. We hope that people won't say, "Well, we're going to take our lawn chairs and sit over by Dow Avenue," and we're going to close off the grounds as best we possibly can to adhere. Because look, what just happened with indoor dining the other day, right? It was supposed to go, and now it's no indoor dining because people were taking advantage of things. So, we don't want to be in a situation where we can't.
I know. I was just asking how clear it is to the.
Oh, how clear is it? I think it's clear. Whether
Okay.
people are going to adhere to it is completely different. So,
Dawn,
2 different questions, Jeff.
Okay.
But we will reinforce and reemphasize. So
Okay.
we hope that people are going to make the right decisions, and not create a situation where people have to, where it becomes an embarrassing kind of thing. It's not right. Let's have the 2 ceremonies. And let's follow the rules. We're gonna live stream it. So.
Oh, it is going to be live streamed. I couldn't remember the answer to that. Okay, Irene. Irene has a question.
Did you have anything you want to add to that?
No, that was perfect. I just wanted to say that we are, when we send out the information tomorrow, that's going to include a reminder about the 2 tickets, but every student did only receive 2 tickets. My initial letter said 2 tickets. My letter after that said 2 tickets. The reminder tomorrow will say 2 tickets. So we've done everything we can to try to make sure everyone is aware, and like Jim said, it's just a matter of people adhering to that. We have everything in place. We just need cooperation.
Dawn, I was just wondering what kind of response you got for how many of the seniors will be attending graduation.
Yeah, so I only had 4. I had 4 students who said they could not attend. I haven't had any others. I did have one teacher tell me a student she knew who could not attend. When that student came to drop off her Chromebook, I asked her and she said, "No, I'm still trying to make it." So right now I only have 4 who responded that they could not attend.
I think that's fantastic.
Great.
And the fact that we are having it is even more fantastic, because having read about a graduation where, and it was very similar to ours, where people tested positive after the graduation. I think we are putting ourselves out there for this senior class and doing everything possible, and I certainly hope that everybody follows the guidelines that you just discussed. Thank you.
If you're, I saw that there was a graduation in Westchester, New York, where some kids, I guess there was a child who went down to Florida and then came back. The interesting thing was that was a drive-through graduation. Everybody was in cars. So I wonder if the graduation was the problem, or just the interactions it had with other classmates maybe prior. That may have been more where, I don't know if you can pinpoint that the infection came as a result of the graduation ceremony. So we're going to follow the guidelines as provided. So, we're hopeful that all will go well.
Sorry about that. Any other comments from the board about graduation or reopening or anything? No? Can't see Janice. There you are. And I can't see Jill. Okay. All right. Okay, so we'll move on to the business administrator's report. Mr. General.
Hello. Just very quickly, the first day of summer feeding was today. Uh-oh. Are we okay? Can everybody hear me? Okay. So the numbers were a little bit lighter than normal. We normally have about 480 meals served. It was down about 60 meals, so just over 400 were served. And if the board remembers, we're keeping it the same procedure, the same off-site locations, the same Monday, Wednesday, the same times as we were doing during the remote learning time from March to June. So it's not bad, but we were just down a little bit, and we'll see how that goes. We did do a robocall and all the other avenues to publicize it. So we'll see how it goes. And that's all I have.
Yeah, that robocall scared me when it went. I was like, what is the Ocean Township School District telling me? We're done. School's over. You know, sorry. Okay. Same, yeah, see? So, okay. Thank you, Ken. Okay. Moving along. I'm going to read it from here. Jim, usually don't, but I have my Chromebook next to me, but it's not packaged right now. So, okay. All motions are posted on the bulletin board, the district website. At this point in the meeting, we're missing the first paragraph of that, but at this point in the meeting, we'll now conduct the first of two public comment sessions. The first session will be open for public comment on agenda items only, and the second session meeting can be on any topic. Would anyone from the public like to comment on the agenda at this time? And just a reminder, public comment, if you can give your name and your address. Number one. Number two, if you can let Mr. Dietrich know that you have a comment. And please don't put comments in the chat. They need to be asked by whoever has the comment, or they need to be stated by whoever has the comment, and for public record. So please make sure that we do that. Does anyone have any comment at this time, Mr. Dietrich?
We do. Since Ken in his report did bring up the food service, Cindy White has a question about food service.
Sure.
Just give me a second to find Cindy.
Sure.
Go ahead, Cindy.
Hi, everybody. Quickly, with ESY and summer sessions being, I don't want to say a little more coordinated, but the timing is going to be a little more stringent than I think we were in the beginning. I got an email the other day saying that we would be live from 9 to 11 every day. That being said, with food service at 9 to 11, that would leave no room for parents to go, because we also got a letter saying that we were expected to be sitting with our child during ESY. So my request is that the board consider either making the times, shifting them an hour in either direction, or just making them all together later in the afternoon.
Okay, or maybe that's a good suggestion, or maybe Jim, we can have Ms. Ona send out an email for who needs it, and maybe we can,
we can
pick up time for somebody later.
We can try. We can.
Okay.
That's all. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other public comment at this time?
We do. Next up is Alex Hayes. Go ahead, Alex.
Just unmuting myself, sorry. I have a couple questions for you. Just wondering, I know we're on virtual meetings obviously now, but why are there no student reports, like from student representatives during these Zoom meetings?
They usually don't report throughout the summer, but you know, that's a good point for the end of the year. I'm not sure, but Dr. Spangler.
Usually the students are reporting on activities that are going on in athletics and some of those things that just weren't happening.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Okay. I'll save the big announcement for someone else to announce, but regarding Ocean Township elementary school teachers, I know we're losing a couple of names, Ms. Conifal, Mr. Steckon, and instructional aide. Can you tell OTS parents, like, what's the next status for hiring, and how many positions in total are we going to be down and or looking for new teachers?
Yeah. Well, I off the top of my head, I think I'm not sure because we just have some movement. I just don't have the exact number off the top of my head. Yeah, well, that can happen sometimes. Once these transfers are put in place, then we will post those positions, and you know, that will go through.
There's no sections. Yeah, there's no sections being cut, if that's the question, Alec. Like, there's no sections being cut, and whatever comes out of the building will be back.
Yeah, right. I mean, you know, well, or let me say this: we'll either post the position, or we may go back. We just had a posting for a large number of elementary, so we have a lot of those. I don't know that we might go back to that pool of folks, or you know, we'll post again, or you know, not sure. But either way, that you know, the interview process will take place as it has, and of course, you know, we think that obviously any new personnel who may be in that position we want to have involved in that process.
So every classroom teacher that is being reassigned somewhere else will have a replacement.
Yes, that's what I'm saying when I say no section is being cut. Yes.
I don't know section.
Oh, sorry, sections. Yes, classroom sections.
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay. And I wasn't able to make it to the Monday food services, but since Ken brought that up, we have a question on that, and then I have one more question. We're required to have a poster at every food services site about civil rights. So I'm just wondering if that, in fact, is at every site.
I haven't seen that. I would say no. So we'll have to look into that.
Okay, it's per U.S. Department of Agriculture summer food site regulations.
Okay.
I'll send it to you.
Okay.
Sure that no kids are discriminated against, and it gives parents, you know, who to talk to if they feel like in getting the foods they are or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, I can tell you, we don't turn anybody away. I mean,
I'm sure.
Yeah.
I'm sure.
But that's fine. Please send it to me.
Okay. And I know I emailed a couple of you about the ESSER funding that you're going to be talking about later on. And I'm paraphrasing here. So I know Ken said, you know, that funding from the CARES Act, I asked how are we going to break it down amongst the 3 Title I schools? And Ken suggested, well, it can be used at all all schools in the district. But today I actually called the State Department of Education and spoke with their Title I coordinator, and they told me otherwise. They told me that those ESSER funds, of which we're getting like $277,000, can only be used for identified students only in school-wide schools or targeted assistance schools, which obviously we don't have any school-wide schools. We only have the 3 targeted of middle school, Gal, and Wayside. And it says free and reduced lunch is not a factor to determine eligibility, can only be identified students only under targeted or school-wide schools. So is that how everyone was planning on spending that $277,000 on the 3 schools, or were you all planning on truly the 5 schools, which doesn't seem to be the way the state says is okay?
I would disagree. You could send me that person's name and number, but I think that's not accurate. It can be used for any of the students in the district, especially for COVID-related expenses such as PPE and disinfectant and things of that nature. So
I can. The email, it says activities authorized under ESSA, the Individuals with Disabilities Education.
Now, you may be talking about, you know, the CARES Act is different than the ESSEA, so maybe there's a little confusion.
I'm not talking about ESSA, I'm talking about ESSER. ESSER, Department guidelines under the CARES Act says, therefore, quote, the funds may be only used for identified students only. In the case of a school-wide school, it would be all students. In a targeted assistance school, only those students identified as academically at risk, homeless, or in foster care. Remember, free and reduced lunch is not a factor or used to determine eligibility.
Okay, so maybe send it to Ken and you can get back to it. You can look into it again.
Yeah, this is from the State Office of Supplemental Education Programs, Title I, under their CARES Act guidelines.
That's definitely one. That's definitely one of the uses, but there are more. You can use it for anyone who qualifies for IDEA. There, if you keep. Well, I'll show you. I'll go over it with you.
Okay. Obviously, my concern is, you know, splitting up money versus 3 schools versus 5 would make a difference to our students. So, hence that. Sorry. So I will send you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, Any other comments, Mr. Dietrich?
Yes, we are up to Susan Green.
Okay. Oh, I'm sorry, Ms. Green, you have your hand up too. I should have seen that.
That's okay. Hi, everybody.
Hi.
Question relates to the approval of personnel for the ESY/community-based instructional program. And thank you very much for moving forward with this. My son and another young woman are the two individuals participating in this program this summer. However, it's coming place to approve, there are 4 positions that are approved here. On the parental side, it doesn't seem like in this age of COVID that we've ironed out all the little idiosyncrasies that are involved in permitting, or as a parent, giving permission for my child to attend. A program, to see kind of where I'm going with this, it will get letting the cart get before the horse. What's needed, what happens if more, like if more, what other expenditures might be incurred to keep the children safe, or busing? Is there issues with getting bus drivers? Or these are all questions that still need to be answered. And does the employee hiring factor into any of the expenditures incurred in running a program for 2 students?
Dr. Spankler or Ms. Zona, I don't know who's better.
I'm sorry, Susan. I'm not sure if I'm really understanding your question.
If I understand it, I think what she's trying to ask is, are we hiring people that we may not need? Susan, wait, did Susan drop off? She may have to come back. She's not where she was in my Zoom people. Does anybody else see Susan? All right, why don't we come back to Susan?
I mean, I would honestly just say if you know, contact Mrs. Zona and ask those questions, and if you've already done, you know, if not, you can contact me tomorrow. You know,
Miss White, looks like she might know the. Can you unmute her, Mr. Dietrich? There you go, Cindy.
Thank you, Amy. I don't know what happened to Susan, but we actually talked about it sooner. I know her concern is that the board's going to approve these positions today, and all of the details haven't been ironed out yet, and we're supposed to start school on Monday. So as far as the details, I know that she will reach out, if she hasn't already, to you guys individually. She's talked to Marie, she's talked to Jen. I know that she's reaching out to Ken today or tomorrow. But if you're hiring for these positions, what are supposed to start Monday, and it ends up that we're not able to send these 2 students to where we want to send them, are we limited in having these positions bought and paid for, even though we have no job for them?
That's what I thought the question was, yeah.
That's what we're questioning.
They look like hourly positions, so I would think that if they don't, is that correct, Jim? Are they hourly positions that if it doesn't happen?
Yeah, I mean, most summer folks are paid in that capacity. They're paid hourly, and they typically do timesheets. So if they don't work, then they don't do a timesheet, and they don't get paid.
Right. That's what I thought it was.
Okay. We are in the world of COVID, so it's a little different sometimes.
Oh, there you are, Susan.
Yeah, Susan's back.
Oh.
Sorry, everybody.
That's all right. Cindy stated your question, which she, and so what we were saying was that they're hourly employees. So if the hours don't happen, then they won't be paid. So we're doing this to be ahead of it. And if there's specific questions you have about the program, Dr. Spankwood said to reach out to Ms. Zona or him or Ken about specifics.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay. Thank you. Is there any other questions, Mr. Dietrich?
There are not.
I'm muting myself, sorry. All right, so we're going to move on to approval of minutes. Yes, Dr. Marshall.
Thank you. I move to approve the meeting minutes in accordance with the Board of Education bylaws 0168 for the regular meeting and executive session minutes of June 16th, 2020. May I have a second, please?
Second.
Any comments, corrections, concerns? with those minutes? Seeing none, Ken?
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Any abstentions? Okay, the motion carries.
Thank you, Dr. Marshall. Moving on to Financial Management and Resource Services, Ms. Gilman.
Yes, thank you, Ms. McGovern. We have 4 items for action and discussion this evening. 8.1 is the school bus. Move to approve the purchase of the 129 passenger bus 2021 Collins model DE Chevrolet as per the attached quote 136069. Purchase will be from Alliance Bus Group Incorporated of Carlstadt, New Jersey, and will be awarded per the Education Services Commission NJ Cooperative Bid Award ESCNJ 18/19-31 in the amount of $63,007. 8.2. Aid in lieu of payments. Move to approve the reduction of the payment of aid in lieu of transportation in the amount of $333 to the parents of the non-public school students that in accordance with NJSA 18A:39-1 are paid the amount of $1,000 for the 2019-2020 school year for transportation to and from school. The reduction is per the Department of Education guidance issued on 6/18/20 and was caused by the transition to remote learning due to the school closing for COVID-19 pandemic. 8.3 ESEA fiscal year 2020 grant allocation. Move to approve the acceptance of funds under the Elementary and Secondary Education Act, ESEA, grant application FY 2020 school year 2021. This notification is required under ESEA-ESSA compliance regulations. Salary and staff information will be forthcoming as listed below. 8.4, CARES 2020 Emergency Relief Grant Allocation. Move to approve the acceptance of funds under the 2020 CARES Emergency Relief Grant Funds. The application was submitted on June 17, 2020, and approved on June 23, 2020, as per the below allocations. And the sum was $277,563 for Ocean Schools, Elon of $15,206, Hillel High School $19,743, Hillel Yeshiva of the Jersey Shore $49,720, and Banat Shira of Deal $690 for a total allocation of $362,922. Mr. General, do you have anything that you would like to add?
Just a little clarification on the school bus. This is our last one. If you remember, a few meetings ago we had approved another one, but this is the last one that we had budgeted for, and so we're ordering that. This one's in stock, so we should have it before the start of school. So that concludes all of the school buses that we're retiring for this year that we're replacing. And then the aid in lieu payments for some of the new board members. These are payments that, this is the state law in which for non-public schools, the public school has to set aside at least $1,000 per student to dedicate towards busing for those non-public school students. So if we're able to find busing for less than $1,000, then we would provide busing or get a contract for busing. If the cost of said busing was more than $1,000, then that's where we would pay them aid in lieu of busing. So we cut a check for $1,000 for each non-public student in which we cannot provide busing to. So this resolution, as per the Department of Education guidance for the 1920 year, since of course there was no transportation, and there was no. They also said that because there was no transportation, that we should not pay the full amount, the full $1,000 to parents for transportation, since no one was taking students anywhere, that these amounts could be reduced. So, so this is another, one when we talk about the budget that, is to the savings side for us. So it's about a savings of about $44,000 that we do not have to pay out to non-public school parents. So I just wanted to explain that a little bit. And then the ESEA is the Title I funds, and the other titles, of course, for this upcoming year. And so that's an annual amount and application. And then the and then the CARES Act. And that's what we started to talk about with Ms. Hayes. And those monies, as you can see, there's a non-public portion of that. So you see the total allocation, but any non-public schools that are located within the Ocean Township borders, and yes, even though it says of deal, it's in the JCC, so that is part of Ocean Township for the small allocation on the list you can see. And so you see that the Ocean Township schools received $277,563, and the application was submitted and approved, and it was submitted to use for PPE for COVID-related expenses for the entire district. So, any questions on any of those?
There are no questions, then can I have a motion? Second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Jeff.
Okay, Mr. Dietrich?
Yes.
So this is 1 through 4. Thank you. 1 through 4. Mrs. Fuller?
Yes.
Mrs. Gilman?
Yes.
Mr. Haddon?
Yes.
Dr. Marshall?
Yes.
Mrs. Parlamas?
Yes.
Mr. Tallarico?
Yes.
Mr. Weinstein?
Yes.
And Mr. McGovern?
Yes.
Okay, the motion carries.
Okay. Thank you, Ms. Gilman. Moving on to personnel, Mrs. Parlamas.
Yes, I'd like to make a motion to move items numbers 9.1 through 9.11. Do I have a second?
Second.
Mr. Janaro?
Okay. Mr. Dietrich?
Yes.
Ms. Fuller?
Yes.
Mrs. Gilman?
Yes to everything except the contract at Dow Avenue.
So that's 9.1.
No. That's wrong. Yes. What number was that?
Is that 9.1 you're talking of?
Let's see.
Yes. Yes.
Yes. Is that a yes? I can't see you scrolling through quickly.
Scroll to 9.1.
There it is. 9.1. Yes. Yes to everything except for 9.1.
Okay, so that's a no for 9.1?
No.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Haddon?
Yes.
Dr. Marshall?
Yes.
Mrs. Parlamas?
Yes.
Mrs. Tallarico?
Yes to everything but 9.1.
Mr. Weinstein?
Yes.
And Mrs. McGovern?
Yes.
Okay, the everything but 9.1 is unanimous. 9.1 is 7-2.
Okay, great.
Dr.
Spangler.
Can I jump in for a second?
I was jumping into you. Yes. Go
I'm
ahead.
sorry. So,
That's okay.
Obviously with that vote, we would like to introduce the new principal of Ocean Township Elementary School, Melissa Lepusnik. I think Melissa is on here with us. Melissa, are you here? I can't see you, but are you here?
I'm here.
There
Can
you
you hear
are.
me?
Congratulations. Welcome.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Dr. Stefankiewicz. Thank you to the board and Ms. Weldon and Ms. Stone and really everyone who served on the interview committee. I am truly, truly grateful for you placing your trust in me, and I am so looking forward to really just getting to know my staff and my students. and my families at Ocean Township Elementary School. I have no doubt it's going to be a great year. So thank you so much again.
Excellent. So thank you. So just so everybody knows, I saw a lot of staff members on. So we're going to look to set up a virtual meeting probably on Thursday morning where we can formally introduce Melissa to the staff and maybe see if we can do something outside in person, maybe a couple weeks out, so they can speak to you in person. And then also we're going to reach out to Ms. LaSalle, the PTA president, I guess effective tomorrow, over there, so we can figure out a way that we can maybe do maybe a drive-by parent welcome or something like that. So in the next couple weeks, be on the lookout for that. But I'm sure that Ms. Lepoznik will also be putting out some communication to the families within the next couple of days, welcoming yourselves. So welcome. I told you now you are on my speed dial, and you better get used to that. And so it's all going to be good. So congratulations and welcome to the principal ranks at Ocean Township.
Congratulations, Melissa. Now I'm going to move on to old business. Does anybody from the board have anything for old business? Ms. Fuller.
Just a question as to where we think we stand for the timing for the board to be able to return to meeting in person while continuing the ability for the public to participate virtually.
Yes, Dr. Stankiewicz and I talked about it. They were trying to figure out the logistics of how we would have one Zoom in. So I think they were talking to Mr. Hall or somebody over there. They were trying to figure it out, but it's definitely something that we're still talking about. I also need to get a sense from the board completely on who feels comfortable and who doesn't coming in. Do you have anything to add, Dr. Stankiewicz?
Yeah, I just would mention that right now with just a lot going on with graduations coming up and all that, that hasn't been a huge focus for us. So probably after graduation, we can look to pinpoint a date. Whether it be last week in July, if that's the wish of the board, if we're going to target August.
I think I would rather the sooner the better, personally. So maybe go ahead, Dr. Marshall, if you have something. I see you unmuted.
Amy, we would really need to know exactly, how it's going to be implemented and how it's going to proceed before we could say whether we're comfortable participating.
I understand.
I mean, I can't commit until I know exactly how it's going to be.
Right. I will say that when we did the second part of our principal interviews, we all had our own. I envision it probably being similar to that. We all had our own tables. We stayed masked.
That was my question, Amy. Did you meet downstairs where you could spread out in the auditorium? Or did you meet upstairs in Jim's office?
No, we would not be able to be upstairs in Jim's office. I mean, Jim and Ken aren't even together. So we were downstairs in the auditorium. So, this is what I'll do, Janice. I'll send an email out to the board, getting a temperature on what the board's thinking and kind of what they would need to be in place in order to be able to do it. And then we'll have a conversation about it at the next meeting, maybe. Does that work?
Thanks, Madam President.
They just do salads, Amy. That's all they're worried about. Free salad.
No, Joe, we're into Nino Juniors. It's summer.
Oh, let's get hopping on this meeting in person.
Oh, my goodness. All right, Mrs. Barlamas, it looks like you might have something.
Yes, Amy, do you know when we're going to be having our ethics meeting? The idea.
Jan or own. We were having a hard time getting a date down.
Now we have a hard time getting a facilitator.
Yes.
Mr. Nicastro is not available. So, you want to talk about that, Ken, or?
That's it in a nutshell. He's not, with everything going on with the opening of school and policies, everything in September. He doesn't think he has time until the fall. So we need to discuss other options.
Okay. Well, maybe we'll see if there's other options, and if not, then we can have Mr. Gross come in again, or we'll discuss it on the side, and then we'll figure out what we come up with. Okay. Any other old business from the board? No? Any new business from the board? So is there any public comment on any item at this time? Mr. Diedrich?
Yes.
Okay.
Where are you, Alex? Here you are. You're up.
Unmute, sorry. Okay. When is the next instructional council meeting?
We don't have the date. We talked about having a summer meeting prior to the start of school, but we don't have a firm date yet.
Okay.
We typically don't meet in the summer, but in light of just everything going on with COVID and other issues, that we did talk about having one this summer.
I'm sorry, we talked about having one, or I didn't hear you.
We did talk about maybe having one this summer, but we didn't have we normally don't meet in the summer. We did talk about it, but we haven't set up any kind of firm date.
So when would we think it'd be, like September, October, November?
Normally, if we don't meet in the summer, we usually meet if not in September, usually by early October. That's usually the latest.
Okay. And I have another question. So the Ocean Township PTA was looking into, as many of you know, we use the Remind, the free app. You're allowed, 150 free email addresses per class, and some some teachers at our school and other schools use it. I'm just curious if the district has ever gotten official quotes from either Remind or any of the other companies that do similar types of things, where it's like instant notification, whether it's a snow day, something serious, or even a Board of Ed meeting tonight. Because in researching Remind, the Remind and similar apps like it, if you spend the money on it, I believe it's worth it because it satisfies up to 4 parent engagement requirements for Title I. And 4 separate sections, actually, that you can check off and say, we did this, we did this, we did this. And I know since we're kind of lacking in the parent engagement department at our school and at others, something that we would look into. And have we ever gotten official quotes? And if we haven't, knowing this, that it can satisfy Title I requirements, can we?
Sorry, I muted again. Ms. Weldon, did you, Dr. Strank was...
Not to my knowledge. I don't think so.
Does anyone else know? No? Okay. Well, I'm sure we can. Mr. General. Or Ms. Weldon does have something.
I was just going to say that we have researched other communication methods to parents over time. When I was principal at the high school, we looked into School Messenger through PowerSchool, and I believe that was the year I was leaving. Ms. Kazuba tried it out for a year or so. It wasn't, I think in the end we found that it was not as helpful direct as Code Red, considering the price that it cost, and that Code Red was a better option, and Twitter and those different methods. We're researching right now things like e-collect forms through PowerSchool and other ways to communicate with parents more in a way that they're used to communicating through their phones, things like that. But I do not have a recent quote.
Just for Dow, it was $1,500 if we wanted to pay. So I believe if the district our size, it's about $5,000 for the year. But obviously, you guys can figure.
I'm sure, yeah, we can look at that. I'm sure, like Kelly said, for something that we already paid for, it probably would be more beneficial maybe to try the PowerSchool option again, but we can definitely talk about it.
But PowerSchool has a text option. I'm not talking about emails, like that's an actual text to our parent phones.
No, the PowerSchool option was email.
Yeah, I think if you polled parents in the entire district, I think a text option would probably be preferable to emails.
Okay, well, we can look into it. Any other comments? Alex, no, you're okay. Mr. Teacher?
Yep. We'll get to the next person. Roxanne Andrus. You can unmute yourself.
Hi.
Hi.
video myself too. I think it'll work. Hi.
There you go.
Hi there. So I couldn't tell, I couldn't see the list of transfer personnel because it was scrolling too quick. So I'm not sure if I was on it or not. Can you tell me that real quick?
I don't believe so.
Okay, all right. So then I'm going to speak then as a parent instead of a personnel person, and just say thank you so much because Eliza just is set to graduate next week. So that made 6 years at OTHS for my kids and even for us 32 years ago. So I'm just expressing my gratitude. Amy, you had mentioned you started the meeting off about gratitude. So I really do want to express our gratitude because it takes a village and everybody in town is our village. And we just had such a wonderful experience. So thanks to Dawn Kazuba for all your support. And I'm hoping, I don't know, Lisa, Hannah, if you're on here, man, this girl is aces, really. I mean, as a mentor, Kelly, I see you on there. Of course, you were a mentor to Jack. And really, we just didn't want to let it go without thanking everyone for helping us get these kids through high school and with a great experience. So I really just wanted to not let that go without telling you all thank you from the bottom of our hearts.
Thank you, Roxanne. Thank
you. Lisa is on, so she did get to you.
Please, and please thank your husband, that Eagles fan. That
well, I'm an Eagles fan by marriage too.
Yeah. Well, once you come into the family, there's no getting out. So.
It's true. Jim said thanks to the Eagle fan as well. Talking about you. He says go Bird. But and also if Kyle Titmus is on here too, I mean, I just have to shout him out too. There's nothing he won't do for these kids, and Lisa too, and there's so many other people on there I feel the same way about, and we just can't say enough. Thank you.
Thank you, Rox.
Thanks, guys.
Okay.
Have a good night.
You too. Good night. Okay, go ahead, Jim. Who's next?
Okay, next up is Allison Oskan. Allison, you can unmute yourself.
Great. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Hi, everybody. Allison Oskan. I live at 5 High Ridge Road. I'm over in Wayside. My first Board of Ed meeting. Very excited to be here.
Welcome.
Thank you, because I am entering Wayside in September, whatever it looks like, with a kindergartner, and also hopefully somebody in pre-K, which is my question. So my daughter Isla was selected in the lottery, and I know we don't know what school looks like yet, but do we know yet whether the program is actually still happening?
Yeah, at this point we feel as confident as we can. We got word from the state that we while there's unfortunately no guarantees until they sign the budget, we were told that we're as close to a guarantee as we could possibly be. So we are moving forward with our big school program.
Okay, thank you. And do we know when they sign the budget, just so we know for sure?
No, September 30th, when it will be too late. So
okay.
So we are moving forward with our pre-K program.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Thank you. Welcome.
Thank you.
Hi, Mr. Dietrich. Oh, you're muted, Mr. Dietrich.
We're going to go back to Alex Hayes. Thank you.
I actually almost read your lips to know that, but
I said you could ask it for me, so I didn't have to. I'm just curious why we're not doing temperature checks at graduations. Relying on personal responsibility and parents to self-identify and self-report their own travel history and their own temperatures. We're not,
Dawn can chime in, but basically, I think there was a feeling that we want to really keep everyone distant. We wanted to not create a bunching situation, a backup in lines, and we also feared that because we are in a summer heat kind of a situation, that it might impact a person's body temperature to the point where it might not give us, the sensitivity of the thermometer outside may create some false temperatures. So that was, and after some consultation with some of the medical professionals, we felt that the self-check would be the better way to go. Dawn, do you want to add to that at all?
I think you covered everything that was accurate.
Did I cover anything that was inaccurate?
No, nothing that was inaccurate. Good job.
And I think I have one final question. Hopefully this is it. And thank you, Dr. Stankiewicz, for answering my question about adding cultural sensitivity and social justice new stuff to our curriculum. And you responded to me that the Monmouth County Curriculum Consortium is providing all Monmouth County school districts with additional materials related to social justice that can be integrated into existing curriculum. Just wondering, will that be in all levels, like K through 12? And will we see this like this year, this coming year? We will have additional social justice analysis of our curriculum.
I'm gonna ask Ms. Weldon, who is the director of the Monmouth County Digital Curriculum Consortium, to say.
Oh, you are?
Yes.
I have to be sorry, Alex. Yes, so MC3, the Monmouth County Curriculum Consortium, has 2 different equity breakout groups running this summer. One is connected to the Superintendent's Roundtable, which Dr. Stankiewicz is a part of. There is an equity council there, and I am the liaison between those 2 groups. So I'll be bringing back the work that the superintendents do to the curriculum and instruction, teaching and learning leadership. And then we have our own group who's looking at equity and access. So it's not just curriculum. Curriculum is part of it, but we are also looking at leveling criteria, NHS criteria, gifted and talented criteria, and really taking an equity lens to all of that and making sure that as a county, we are breaking down any sort of systems that prevent students from advancing and meeting with success in their academic progress through life. So we will collaborate together as a county and really try and share resources and be somewhat united in our efforts to try to make real change in this area. The work is beginning this summer. And just back to the curriculum piece, with the newly released student learning standards, as we are working in our, we also have specific breakout groups. MC3 has specific breakout groups for each of the new standards that were released. So it's VPA, it's what was called the 21st century skills, but now it's called career readiness, life literacies, and key skills, and also science, and I'm missing one. But each group has a breakout, a specific breakout for that, and each group, each facilitator for MC3 knows that they must bring an equity lens to all the development that they do so that the county schools can benefit from that development as well. So I think those 2 things together, which will start this summer and probably continue. I believe the equity and access group will not accomplish everything in one summer. I think the standards groups will accomplish quite a bit because some of them will have new curricula in place for September 1.
And I'm serving on the superintendent's newly formed equity committee as well for the county. So we are very well represented between Kelly's work and and the work of the superintendents. We're very well represented within those groups.
Thank you. I think that's important information to share with the parents. Thank you.
Hi, Mr. Dietrich. There was somebody that raised their hand, but I didn't catch it because it went off my radar. So whoever raised their hand, it was something with a last name M. They can raise their hand again, or unless you have somebody that's waiting to ask a question.
I do not have anybody waiting.
Okay, so I apologize because I saw it come up and then I got, oh, Jody Madigan. I knew there was an M in there. So Miss Madigan, if you can unmute her, that would be great.
If I can find her.
She's on my bottom of page 2. Oh wait, I can unmute her.
Yes, you can.
Hold on. Trying to. There you go, Ms. Madigan, we can hear you.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Okay, so I first apologize if this has already been spoken about, but I wanted to welcome Miss Melissa. Look, I'm gonna, but I was just wondering if we could just hear a little bit about her background. As a Dow Avenue parent, I feel naive to not know if she's coming from district or out of district or what her background is.
Sure. Melissa, can we put you on the spot? Okay, let me unmute you.
I did. You can
you
make
did?
yourself welcome.
Okay. Good?
Yep, go ahead.
Okay, so just a little bit about my background. I've been in the district for a year as a supervisor of world cultures. I've spent the majority of my career working with bilingual ESL students as world language teacher and ESL teacher. I've been at the elementary level, at the secondary level, and I've also served as a supervisor of bilingual ESL and world languages in Asbury Park, as well as the middle school vice principal at Asbury Park Middle School. So.
Thank you. Just to have some background, that's great.
Right.
We'll put out some information formally introducing Mr. Plozniak where we can discuss all that.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Sure. Looking forward to meeting you.
That's all we've got, Madam President.
Okay, oh, I was muted, sorry. Okay, so seeing that we don't have anything else, we'll give it just about 10 seconds. I'm excited. Thank you everybody for adding this meeting on. It was important to do this meeting tonight, and thank you for everybody showing up. And if there's nothing else, I'll ask for a motion to adjourn.
Motion.
And can I have a second? Second. All right, we are adjourned. Thank you.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.